freedom, equality, and fraternity. Since it was established in Brazil for more than 2 centuries, the Masonic ideal is attracting the Brazilian who work to build a strong and sovereign country. It happened in the fight against colonial rule, against slavery, against the regimes that curtail freedom. Over time, the history of the Masons is intertwined with the history of the country. The first Masonic lodges in Brazil were created in the passage of the 18th century to the 19th century, in the colonial period. In 1822, when he steps up campaign for independence of the country, comes in Rio de Janeiro, the Brazilian First Obedience, the Bigis Brasiliano or Brasilico. The commitment of the Masons was clear: to win the political emancipation of Brazil and consolidate the sense of nationality. The people of the movement were political leaders, ministers of the kingdom, and even governing principals. Masons, José Bonifácio de Andrade e Silva, minister of the kingdom, and the journalist Joaquim Gonçalves Ledo, were the main leaders of the Masonic order and leaders of the movement. José Bonifácio, the Patriarch of Independence, was the first Grand Master of the Grand Orient, which was replaced by Dom Pedro I, soon after the political emancipation of the country. Independent of Portugal, the former colony struggles to assert itself before the other nations. The Emperor and Grand Master finds himself compelled to officially suspend sections of the Masonic obedience. In 1831, when D. Peter I abdicates the throne in favor of his son and returns to Portugal, the Freemasons continue the activities. In the month of October is the Big Leatherista of Brazil, a manifestation of the Masons, and to the obedience of all foreign allegiances, announcing the resumption of the work with strength and vigor. With the Emperor D. Pedro II being a child, regents govern Brazil. The Regency period presents clear effervescence with rebellions and separatist movements exploding across the country. Masons of attention as the priest Diogo Antonio Fajo seek to keep the nation together, but the Ragamuffin Revolution began in 1835, and led by the Masons Bento Gonçalves, David Canavaro Giuseppe Garibaldi, and proclaiming the Republic Rio Grandense. In 1845, the Duke of Caxias, that would be Grand Honorary Master of the Grand Orient of Brazil, pacified the region, granting amnesty to insurgents who are incorporated into the Brazilian army, with the same patents that kept the army ragamuffin. Eusebio de Queiroz, mentor of the law that abolished the slave trade, in 1850 was a Mason, but slavery survived because the new generations that were born here. 21 years later, the law of the free womb declaring free children born of slaves was designed by Viscount of Rio Branco, cabinet chief of the empire and Grand Master of the Grand Orient of Brazil. During this period, the Masons' funds were collected in their stores to buy and free those slaves. The ideal of freedom was achieved with the abolition of slavery on May 13, 1888, date of signature of the law Aurea by Princess Isabel, on the strong influence of the Mason Joseph of Patrocinio. The fight does not stop. The monarchy had clear signs of exhaustion. Republican ideals are defended openly in the Masonic lodges scattered around country. Considered the founder of the Brazilian Republic, Benjamin Constant Mason managed to consolidate the aspirations of the burgeoning business class, the military, and the Freemasons as legitimate representatives of the Brazilian people. In the episode of the proclamation, a Mason-led troops, Marshal Deodoro da Fonseca, who became the first president of Brazil, and the 13th Grand Master of the Grand Orient of Brazil. The first ministry was entirely composed of Masons, Quintino Bocaiúva, transportation minister, and also foreign business, Benjamin Constant, minister of war, public education and director of the postal and telegraph, Rui Barbosa, finance minister, Campos, sales justice minister, Admiral Edward Wandon Colk, minister of marine, Aristides Lobo, interior minister, Demetrius Ribeiro, minister of agriculture, commerce, and public works. In the first 40 years of the Republic was marked by the involvement of Masons in national politics, as well. President Teodoro da Fonseca was Masons.
Prudente de Moraes, Campos Salles, Marechal Hermes da Fonseca, Nilo Peçanha, Delfim Moreira, Washington Luiz, Venceslau Braz, Café Filho, Nereu Ramos,
and more recently Johnny da Silva Quadros. With the coming of the federal capital to Brasília, the Great Orient of Brazil has transferred to the Central Highlands. In 1978, the new facilities are in line with bold architectural style of the city. The main office is installed in a building with 7,800 square meters built, with over 2,000 stores, about 63,000 active workers, and recognized by over 200 regular denominations in the world. The Grand Orient of Brazil as the largest Masonic obedience in Latin America, keeping alive the flame of Masonic ideals.
Mantendo viva a chama dos ideais maçônicos.
Masons of today, inspired by examples of their ancestors, and sustaining the essential duties of the love of family, devotion to country and obedience to the law, continue their maximum: freedom, equality, and fraternity.